Hello, Ash.
Hello, Taryn.
Hello. It's October series, episode 2.
October series.
Woo woo. I'm going to start us with a fact.
Ooh, okay.
Halloween fact. That's
Perfect.
disgusting.
Ooh.
Oh. Oh. Did you know that the earliest Halloween celebrations, partygoers would don dead animal heads and skins as their costumes?
I don't like that at all. I don't like that at
Isn't that
all.
disgusting?
How long were they dead?
But also, like, it makes sense because think about like what we wear as costumes.
Right.
It's like movie characters, well-known things,
could be an animal.
Animals, but we like make our own, obviously. But back then,
What do you do?
did they have silicone to make masks?
No.
Did they have movies?
Or like dye, like colored dye?
Berries,
Just mash up some
berries.
berries. Today's episode is brought to you by Ritual. I don't know about you guys, but lately it feels like I am just juggling everything, work-related, relationship-related, home-related. Things have been getting a little stressful as of late, and the holidays are just around the corner, which is going to make everything even more stressful. And believe me, I've tried all the tools when it comes to managing my stress levels, like exercising, like self-care, like me time. And here's that guys. You need to start your morning with Ritual Stress Relief. This product uses first-of-its-kind technology to support the body's natural cortisol response so that you can take on the daily juggle. Ritual suggests taking stress relief in the morning when cortisol is typically at its peak to support the body's natural cortisol response with an instant and extended release formulation for all-day support. The juggle is real, guys. I get it. Don't just respond to stress. Get ahead of it with stress relief from Ritual. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/advice. ADVICE. Start Ritual or add stress relief to your subscriptions today. That's ritual.com/advice for 25% off. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. What is up, UA listeners? Ashley here with some super exciting news. October series is here. Like she's here. And Tara and I could not be more excited. Obviously, we could not do this spooky series without your guys' spooky stories. So do me a favor, and if you have a scary story or if you know someone that has a scary story, send them in now. Be sure to include all of the spooky details, and yours could be chosen to read on the podcast this month. Also, if you just live for spooky season like Taryn and I do, then you have to subscribe to our Supercast account where we will be doing scary stories all month long. That means you'll be getting 2 episodes every week for the entire month of October, and of course they will all be spooky stories. Totally worth the $5 if you ask me. So subscribe to our Supercast today and send in your stories now.
That's disgusting,
awful.
though. Imagine like just the smell at the Halloween parties.
Oof. I mean, just the smell in general back then. Sometimes I think about that, I'm just like, I've never been so grateful to be born in the century that I was born.
With
especially when I watch like
perfume.
a lot of like when I watch a lot of like period pieces or shows and anything like, you know, like old London, industrial era. Like I'm just like, oh, like that sounds awful.
Yeah, you like see pictures and you're like, I can smell that photo.
You're like, I just can only imagine what that smells like. And like that's back with like not real bathrooms and like people shower maybe every couple weeks. Yikes.
Beat their clothes in rocks.
No, thank you. That sounds oof. I cannot.
But I also like
me and my morning and night shower.
Yeah, literally. I also think like of the freedom that must have come back then where it was like it was more like, oh, the jewels or the dresses that you wore. Like you weren't judged as much for like your body or your...
Well, imagine the freedom that came when slick back buns became a thing.
Yeah.
And all of us were like, oh, I can go days without washing my hair.
Yep.
Like that's how it was. You just kind of like worked with what you had. There was no pressure for like these perfectly clean hairstyles. So like I'm sure there was a freedom that came with it, but also like they're at a price.
At a
and that price was to sit there in the stench of you and your people.
Yeah.
Yikes. That sounds awful. Ugh.
Speaking of stench.
Excellent segue.
You guys, I think I'm dying. No, this is not a joke.
How often do you think you've said that? Every year there's a new illness. There's something.
Yeah, but remember,
minus the one major one.
One time
there was a major.
You know what's funny though is that whole time I was like, I'm fine. It's all in my head because I'm always like, oh, it's in my head, and then surprise, cancer.
Surprise, kind of serious.
No, I really think I'm dying though because this is TMI with Taryn.
TMI. Another Taryn segment.
Another Taryn segment. Okay. I have diagnosed myself because of TikTok.
We have all done it.
As one does.
Yes.
But through my trail on TikTok, I found this nutritionist who has won all of these crazy awards. Like she's like an actual certified professional. Mm-hmm. So
okay.
I'm mainly going off of the stuff I saw on hers.
Yes.
But
smart.
I have...
You mean you're not trusting the moms that are...
No.
The amount of moms that come on my For You page that are like, here's what you need to do for blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who?
Literally. Take a sunflower seed, shove it up your nose for 2 days, and you are healed. Yeah. So I have started having like issues. So most of them are within myself that I'm just dealing with. Like I wake up and I look like 6 months pregnant, which like my morning skinny used to be my favorite thing.
I love a morning skinny.
I love walking in to go to the bathroom and just being like, hey, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Who are you? And then I eat my first meal and I'm like, aw.
And for those who don't know, the morning skinny is, you know, when you wake up and you slept for all night long and whatever you ate the night before is gone and you just feel, you haven't had a sip of water.
You're just fresh, shriveled,
you know,
and
6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And you just feel kind of thin. Like that's what we mean when we say morning skinny.
Yeah.
And I always wake up and I'm just like, I feel good.
I look great. I look great. And then when you go to bed, you're like, oh dear God.
Yeah. I was going to say, mine's kind of opposite. I go to bed feeling bloated because of what I ate.
Yeah.
90% of the time.
No, usually same. But I started noticing in the morning, I just felt like gross. And then throughout the day, I was just like bloated and like, I was breaking out all around my lips, like to the point where I was like, did something weird happen? Like what is happening? So I was like looking up all this stuff and it was saying hormonal or like gut. So then when I went on this, well, and then the last symptom. So I've been having very smelly farts. Ash, sorry, I have to say it. No. When I tell you, I really think that I could put down like a grown man with these. Like, and I've never been embarrassed about them. Like, I think like it's natural.
Literally in the 10 years that we've been friends, you've never been embarrassed.
No. Like when girls
I'm
are
the
like,
one that always tries to hide it.
Oh my God, like I haven't pooped in days because I've been with my boyfriend. I'm like, my boyfriend, my ex, I don't have one. My ex, the first day I went over to his house, I had to go and I went. And my friends were like, you did not. And I'm like, everybody goes to the bathroom. I don't understand. Yes. Do I think you should be like audibly like just letting him rip? No, like there's manners and then there's just like, it's a bodily function. Ashley's having a seizure.
I'm
okay.
dying.
So,
shriveling up inside.
The first time it happened, I was like, I literally started LOLing because I was just like, what just came out of my body? Like it was crazy. And then I was like, oh, I must have ate something like it was the Del Taco, like it was something. So then like it's been every day pretty consistently, like, and it is like you are in like a sulfur pool or like you just boiled eggs. Like it's so bad to the point, I cannot believe I'm admitting this. So I went to a concert with Rachel and one slipped out. When I tell you, the entire audience was like looking around and like, oh my God, like everyone's holding their nose. And so then I'm just like, oh shit, oh my God. Like, and Rachel's like freaking out, right?
Does she know it was you?
No, because I was like, I can't admit it to her because she's going to start laughing and then it's so obvious.
Yeah.
And so then as we're walking out, I was like, that was me. She's like, what? I was like, that was me. She's like, that was not you. And I was like, it was me. But yeah, so anyways, all these things have been happening. I finally saw this girl like sum up if something's going on in your gut, like you have a bacteria or like your levels are off or whatever. And specifically, it was like the breaking out in the areas that I was. It was the bloating. It was the like smelly things. And so now I'm like, I have something wrong.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like so many different things happen at the same time that they have to be connected.
It has to.
I had that happen to me last year. I was telling Taryn already knows this, but like I ended up going on a diet to kind of like figure out exactly what was causing it. And it was dairy, and gluten was the thing that made me bloat. Dairy was the one that upset my stomach. And to this day, like all week, I did the like elimination diet. I got really good at being aware of like what I'm going to eat. So I'm like, if I do decide to have bread and cheese, I just like, I come prepared. I have my bloat pills. I like make sure I do all the things to make my stomach not hurt as bad. But there's times where like I'll eat something and I didn't know. Within an hour, my stomach will start hurting. Within 2 hours, like I'm a mess. So
what kind of mess?
It's just a mess.
What are your symptoms?
Literally a tummy ache. And same thing, like I've been off all week. I've been in the process of moving, and like we've been eating like not great, and I have acne on my lip here that it broke out on my lip over here and over here.
I did not know that. I did not know that specifically around your mouth. It's usually tied to hormonal, like gut or food allergy.
Yeah, like jaw is like period hormone right here, and then over here is stomach. And then over here, I forget what your forehead was. It was a specific thing where it's like forehead acne means this. Jaw acne I know is period and hormonal, and then but like there's different areas and different types. Like if it's like surfacey stuff, that means one thing. If it's deep, more cystic, that means another thing.
It's wild.
It's fascinating. So yeah, I've been learning a lot.
I'm dying.
Welcome to the bloated gut health for you page.
Yeah, I'm dying. If I have to, the thought of giving up like dairy.
I will say it's not hard. It like you have to think about it the first week.
But you've
and then
always ate healthier.
But we live in LA, and everywhere these days has options. They're not always as fun, but like there's options.
Yeah. Ugh, everyone say a prayer. I hope it's a parasite. I hope there's like a worm living in my stomach.
You hope there's a worm?
Because then I just kill that little sucker and then I can continue to eat in bliss. Okay? Not change my life. But anyways, welcome to October series. That is my scary that's happening right now. So it's wild. I'm scared to be in public. That's what I'm scared
to be sitting across from you right now. So there's that.
Okay. Anyways, Ash, should we like start? Is there anything you want to share with us?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I'm moving in with my boyfriend.
You've said that, but you haven't revealed.
I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and I'm very excited about it.
Like she has a place.
Oh, I have a place.
Yes.
I have an apartment. Jackson and I got it. We spent the last 2 weekends like moving my stuff, moving his stuff. We're still not fully moved in the moment, but it is fully like it's got all of the furniture there. I still have to move like my office and my desk and like my clothes and stuff like that. So I'm still living at Alicia's, but we're very close to officially having moved in, which I'm very excited about.
So cool.
However, something very big is happening tonight. What? It was supposed to happen Saturday, but it didn't happen. My parents are meeting his parents for the first time. So it was supposed to happen Saturday, but my mom, poor thing, she gets these wild migraines.
She's having another one?
She's having another one. Aww. And it's one of those ones, she's always struggled with these, and she doesn't get them like, oh, I have a migraine. She gets them like the room's spinning and she's throwing up, I have a migraine. So she was out of commission all weekend. She's finally feeling better. So we had made a dinner reservation for like just me, Jackson, and his parents. So we just added my parents to the reservation, and Alicia's going to come too. But yeah, they're officially meeting tonight. So that's exciting.
That is so exciting.
So yeah. I'm like nervous for like first date nervous. It's weird how like I'm super comfortable with his parents. I've hung out with them, met them multiple times over the last 3 years, obviously. Jackson is the same with my parents. But I feel like I feel nervous, which is funny.
I get that because it's like,
I'm like, oh my God.
Your families are an extension of you.
Right.
And so like, if you want it to go well so that they also are like, oh, we love her and her family versus like, it's not going to happen. But like, if there was a clash, it's like, would that make them feel different towards me?
And it's just hard to not think of like movies like Meet the Fockers where you're just like, is this going to be an immediate smooth click situation, or is this going to be like an uncomfortable, obviously it's different because they already know Jackson, so it's just like the parents, but
no, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Can you just text me like
yes. Oh, okay. I'll keep you updated. Also, like we're taking them, Jackson and mine's favorite restaurant is Bavel, and we're taking everyone to Bavel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Because his parents live in Colorado, and as beautiful as it is, they don't have a lot of excellent restaurants.
Really?
It's like more, it's not like they don't have excellent restaurants. They live in a small town in Colorado, not Denver.
Okay.
And so it's just very like
basic restaurants.
Basic American bland meat and potatoes kind of restaurants. So we were very excited to take them here. They love food. We took them to Sugarfish on Saturday.
Oh my gosh,
they lost their mind.
Oh, I'm sure.
They were like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, I'm so happy you guys got to try it. So parents are meeting the parents, and we're taking them to our favorite restaurant.
So official.
It's going to be great.
So official.
I'm excited.
Love that for you.
Also, I've had zero sleep this weekend. I am running on fumes.
Yeah. You know what, Ash? We are going to scare the crap out of each other right now, which will give you a boost to get some stuff done. And then hopefully you'll fall asleep. I think tonight might be a melatonin.
Tonight might be a melatonin night for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ritual. I don't know about you guys, but lately it feels like I am just juggling everything. Work-related, relationship-related, home-related. Things have been getting a little stressful as of late, and the holidays are just around the corner, which is going to make everything even more stressful. And believe me, I've tried all the tools when it comes to managing my stress levels, like exercising, like self-care, like me time. And here's that guys. You need to start your morning with Ritual Stress Relief. This product uses first-of-its-kind technology to support the body's natural cortisol response so that you can take on the daily juggle. I'm not exaggerating, guys. Within the last month, things have been crazy for me, especially with this whole big move. And I have been taking their stress relief pills, and they have been monumental. They've been so helpful at just taking the edge off. I've used Ritual for years now. I've used them a lot in the past for their women's vitamins, as well as their symbiotic and gut health. But this stress relief pill really has changed the game for me and might be one of my favorite products that there is now. The Stress Relief Bio Series technology is designed to optimize the release of a trio of clinically studied ingredients to help the body manage stress. Shodan ashwagandha has been clinically studied to support normal cortisol levels and reduce stress. Ritual suggests taking stress relief in the morning when cortisol is typically at its peak to support the body's natural cortisol response with an instant and extended release formulation for all-day support. Stress relief is made traceable with ingredients you can trust, including L-theanine from Honam, South Korea, saffron from Madrid, Spain, and ashwagandha from Kerala, India. The juggle is real, guys. I get it. Don't just respond to stress. Get ahead of it with stress relief from Ritual. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/advice. ADVICE. Start Ritual or add stress relief to your subscriptions today. That's ritual.com/advice for 25% off. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you have a spooky it up or?
I sure do. I'm very excited for this one. This one is kind of an October shorty. Still it's tearing it up still, but it's definitely spooky theme. So we're staying on theme.
Love it. Love it.
Also, before we get into anything, if you didn't know, we are also recording scary episodes on our Supercast account where you can get bonus episodes. So we'll be doing 2 episodes here every week, 2 episodes on Supercast. If you love the super scary stories, definitely subscribe to Supercast.
And I just want to say, I've already fallen in love with our Supercast
honestly
group.
They're so fun.
They're so dope. But I did not expect for them to show up the way they have for October series.
Yeah.
Because we told our Supercast audience, hey, if you guys have scary stories that you just want shared on Supercast, just title it like Supercast October series.
Yeah.
our inbox, I would say we've gotten more Supercast scary stories than October series.
Truly.
And some of them are so stinking good that I'm like, wait, I feel like everybody's going to want to hear this.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, Supercast, pat yourself on the back.
Way to show up and show
showing
out.
up. And if you're not a part of Supercast, this is the month to be a part of it.
This is the month. Do yourself a favor.
When you sign up, you get access to all the episodes.
So you can binge
So you
them.
can like go back to previous October. Was it last October? Did we do extra ones? Yeah.
I think we did, yeah.
Have we had Supercast a year already?
I guess we have.
Oh my God, happy
honestly,
birthday.
I didn't realize that until you just said that.
We launched it like right before October
I
series.
think we did.
Happy birthday.
I feel like my brain just like a memory just unlocked.
Yeah. So you have last year's extra scaries and then this year too. So
correct.
Get on it.
It's
And that's
worth
all I'm
it.
going to say.
It's worth it. Also, check out our promos on Instagram because we've been putting our heart and soul into them.
Yes, please do. Yep.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into this one. This one is titled Every Babysitter's Worst Nightmare.
Oh, gosh.
When they involve children, it's always just like, no.
I've had a couple of those.
Okay. All right, well, let's dive in. Hey, gals.
Hey.
My name is Maddie, and you can use my name. I'm an Enneagram 7, Wing 9, and oh, do I have a story for you. But first, I have to add on to everyone else's praises and tell y'all how much I love your podcast. You answer questions I didn't even know I had and give me something to look forward to every week. I appreciate you guys in every way. Now, without further ado, my worst nightmare was a babysitter's nightmare come true. This happened when I was 15 to 16 years old, about 7 years ago. I was babysitting 4 girls one evening, and I had just gotten everyone else to bed except the second to youngest. We'll call her Lily. She absolutely would not go to bed unless I read her a couple of books. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah. Oh my God. My nephew
I'm like
is
asking
like
you
that.
because I'm like, I have zero child experience.
It's the pre-bedtime stall. So that's where all of a sudden I'm thirsty. Can we read a book? Can you pray with me? Can you snuggle with me? Like but there are some kids that's their routine is like
slowly wind down. Yeah. Okay. She continues.
My nephew, one time I was like, I'll read you one book. And he's so smart. He brings me the Bible.
The thickest.
I was like, okay.
Clever. Not tonight, sir.
Yeah, no.
She continues. It was about 9 p.m. at this point, and their parents would be home in a couple of hours. Lily had just dozed off with her head resting on my arm when I heard the front door, which was just down the hall to the left of the bedroom door and very much locked. It began to wiggle like someone was trying to open it, and then it creaked open slowly. I checked my phone to see if I had missed a text saying that their parents were coming home early, but there was nothing. Then I heard big, slow, heavy footsteps make their way inside. I froze completely, and literally I have read but never felt the sensation before. My blood ran cold. I looked at Lily and gently laid her head on her pillow. I got up slowly and grabbed my half-empty metal water bottle from the nightstand. Smart. I held it like I was ready to swing a bat and tiptoed down the long hallway for what felt like an eternity. As I neared the living room, I saw a tall, maybe 6'2", 6'3" man with his back to me. He had on large black boots, black jeans, and a black leather jacket, very broad hunched shoulders, and a buzz cut. I was miraculously able to get my squeaky voice to work, and I whisper yelled at him to get out. I really did not want to wake up the girls at this point. He swung around startled and stared at me for what felt like ages as I tried to figure out how I could reach his head with my bottle, simultaneously going through the sing steps from Miss Congeniality in my mind.
Stomach. Groin.
Finally, with wide, dark eyes, he grabbed his head and started muttering things like, no, 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 and this is not how I wanted it to go, and what have I done? Then he ran back outside, slamming the door behind him. I stood there stunned.
Wanted what to go?
Wanted what to go? Good
What did
question.
you want to go? Where?
Oof. I stood there, stunned, still in fight mode. After a couple minutes, I grabbed my phone and called the girl's mom, telling her everything and describing the man. She thought in silence for a second and finally said, "Oh my gosh, Maddie, I'm so sorry. That man is my younger brother. He asked what we were doing today, but I didn't explain why. He came to surprise us." As I processed this news, she told me they were coming home right away. When they arrived, they walked in with her brother, who was looking quite embarrassed and not looking me in the eye. All the noise coming in woke all the girls up, and they could not have been happier to see their uncle.
Okay. He could have said
so
many other things.
Anything. Literally.
Oh my gosh,
anything.
I'm so sorry. I'm Samantha's brother.
Simply saying the mother's names, saying that would have made it better.
Or be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm the uncle, but I'm going to step outside if you want to call to confirm." I'm so sorry I scared you.
Could have explained his way and left, making her feel safer. Could have said anything instead of run out the door.
Not hold your head. This is not how I wanted it to go.
When I was reading this, I was like, is he insane? Like, what's going on? But imagine being her.
No.
It's terrifying. He apologized profusely and explained that he was on leave from the military. He was only 22 years old and drove for hours to visit everybody. He thought the whole family would be home. I was still in a daze and shaky as the adrenaline started leaving my body. I was glad that everything was figured out, but not even a little bit amused with the fact that I almost bludgeoned my boss's little brother / protector of our country in the head with my pink metal water bottle. Man, I have said this since college. Those hydro flasks could kill a man.
Especially with the handle. Like, yes. You're good to go.
You could swing that. Yeah. I've always said this. Every woman should have like a big metal water bottle with them, because that is a weapon. Does the job. That is a weapon. We all laugh about it now, and it has been such a fun story to tell. Even if this doesn't make it onto the pod, I hope you all had a good fright and a good laugh. Yours sincerely, Maddie.
Wow.
And that is my worst fear, is a guy breaking into my home at night with like malicious intentions. Like, that is easily like my worst fear. I couldn't imagine experiencing that while watching someone else's children, or just having children in the house. Like, it's already scary enough that I would have to deal with something like that. But when there's kids in the house, it's not like I can just run.
Yeah.
Because my plan always has been like, okay, someone breaks in, here's the window I'm going out of. I have my bear spray next to my stand. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to jump out the window. But when there's kids, you can't leave.
Yeah.
You got to get them.
Yeah.
Or protect them.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
No, it is terrifying.
And then for him to like grab his head and be like, no, this is not how I wanted it to go. That sounds so sinister. Like he had like the worst possible intentions for breaking into that house.
Wow.
But then also it makes sense how he like opened the door and just walked right in.
And like quietly, because he was, Mm-hmm.
Anyone breaking in would have had to like break the door or like something like that. It's crazy.
Oof. I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
I'm glad it was nothing, but holy crap, that would have terrified me. Thank you so much for sending it in, Maddie. If you guys have crazy babysitting stories,
let us
send
know.
them in, please.
Or any scary stories. It's still not too late, because we have Supercast and regular.
Please send in all the stories.
If you have a scary story, whether it's your own or someone you've heard tell a scary story, send it in ASAP Rocky. Where?
adviceunsolicitedpod@gmail.com.
That's right, girl.
I went to this opening of this Korean barbecue restaurant. Like a week ago with Jackson. It was for a friend of ours, Maddie.
Yeah.
With Camber. I ended up sitting at this table with this really cute couple who like created this canned beverage that we were all drinking that night. We were chatting with them, and they had just moved to LA, and she's in like the social, she's doing socials for their company. And she asked me what I do, and I was explaining the podcast. Jackson's favorite thing on the planet is to tell people that I do scary stories. Like he just loves to lead with that. And I'm like, literally 1 month out of the year, but like, yes, technically I do. She told me one that was so crazy, and I have followed up because I've been like, can you please write this in? So hopefully that comes in, because when it does, I'm very excited for it to read it, but we haven't gotten it yet. So fingers crossed.
She's coming.
She's coming.
Let's get into it. Michaela, cue the music. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, whenever you want, whenever it makes sense. This one is titled "A Watchman Who Watched Too Much." This is one of those ones. It's like mentally the thoughts of like what could have happened. Like that's, you know what I mean? It's like not jump scary, but it's like crazy. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to continue.
Okay.
Hey, Ashley and Taryn. No specific preference in name order, but can I just say that being Ashley's birthday twin does have its unsaid preferences. Wink, wink.
My goodness. You get it.
She's like, I'm so sorry.
Have
for
you
your loss.
also had half birthdays? I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Is your cake Christmas themed, birthday themed? Do you have different wrapping paper?
Okay. So I'm a 21-year-old girl who lives on the very opposite side of the spectacular, spooky world we live in. She is from Delhi, India, and wants to be anonymous for the podcast.
I haven't been. I want to go.
Yes. My story isn't the contemporary ghost/spirit story. It's more of an odd experience, which I've decided to make into more of a PSA for safety. That is, if it makes it into the podcast, but I'm happy to share it with you anyways. The event goes back to when I was a 9-year-old kid. I was playing in the streets with my friends, riding our kick scooters and shouting like crazy, as little kids do. My mom had a rule: no riding kick scooters post dusk. And if you're not back home, you have to be playing right in the front of the house, not a step away. She was the kind of mom who understood that her kids aren't going to listen to her when she said, be back early. So she made rules for staying out late instead.
Yeah.
Love that. One day it hit dusk and I knew I still wanted to talk with my 2 other friends. So I opened my house's front door and left the scooter leaning right against the wall next to the door and then shut the door as I left. I was leaving my front yard when I saw a man who looked like a watch guard standing under the tree next to my house. He turned his head as soon as my eyes met his. So like she looked at him and he like really quickly looked away.
Yeah.
Which anybody who does that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get caught staring at people quite often.
The amount of people that were like, there's this crazy lady that was just staring at me.
One time I forgot I took my glasses off. So I was like side staring at this person and they kept looking at me. I was like, oh my gosh, they're obsessed with me. And then I realized I didn't have my glasses on and I was like, I can't even imagine how psycho I looked.
Oh, 100%. They were like, she's crazy.
She's crazy. It was normal for our society's security to have guards on foot, to be on surveillance, especially during holidays and festivals. So it really didn't bother me.
Love that.
For context, we don't celebrate Halloween here, but we have a festival called Diwali around the same time, which is basically a festival of lights, and it's a major one where we worship Hindu gods. It's a time for family gathering and festive fun, celebratory. Wow.
Close.
Anyways, rituals. It started to get really dark and I was talking with my friends right in front of my house with my mom casually checking up on me once in a while to see if I was near. Every time I looked in the direction of the guard, he was still there, smoking cigarettes. And I saw an empty bottle of alcohol thrown at the foot of the tree, but I wasn't sure if it was his or not.
Sus.
It was completely dark now, and he was still there, a black figure now, and whenever I looked towards him, he would turn, trying to not look like he was clearly staring.
Yeah.
It was at this point I had a weird feeling and told my friends to go home and be wary of the staring guard guy. Both lived down the street, and now we're super uncomfortable to be walking back alone. So I decided to escort them to their house and hopefully come back home to no creepy guy staring.
Staring.
To
be clear, it's both.
Right at this point, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But also,
because they had each other.
Good friends. Yeah. I dropped off my friends and it must have taken about 5 minutes max. I come back, steadily trying to see if the guy is still there and scan the entire corner. I took a breath of relief when I saw no dark figure in sight. I headed home, and just as I turned to my home's entrance, my heart stopped. My mom was standing out front, and just as she saw me, she had a disappointed look on her face, and in front of her was the same creepy guard. He turned and looked at me while I stood frozen on the street outside my home. My mom called me close, and I hesitated. I think I was pacing sideways, trying my best to escape what was happening because it surely didn't look good. Just then, the guard told my mom, "Madame, I'll take leave now. Please tell her she should not do this again and can come to me anytime she wants. I will also talk to her tomorrow, and feel free to send my, I think it's bakshish, along with her," which is a Hindi word for charity that people give out to workers during festivals.
Got it.
He turned back and started leaving, and just then turned his head to me, smiled, and said, "Listen and obey your mom, child." I went to my mother, and even before I said something, she basically started interrogating me where I was since I had left the front of the house. I told her that I went to drop off my friends, and it wasn't even for a full 5 minutes. She replied, "Oh, so then tell me why this guard came by, dropped off your scooter, said that you were riding it near his cabin, and left it with him saying that he was my friend and could keep it in his cabin, and proceeded to walk home with my girlfriends." His cabin was about 1 kilometer away from my house. I had never, ever been there and wouldn't, because we kids had no business being there. Dude. I was shocked to my core. What bothered me more than my mom thinking I was lying was that he had entered my house, took my scooter, brought it back to my home to my mom, and cooked up a whole story for God knows what reason, all under 5 minutes.
Why?
Well, think about the story that he told, that they were friends, she left it at his house, and that she can come to him anytime. And then he was like, "Oh, send her with tomorrow. Yeah, send her with my money." He's like making it seem like comfortable with the mom, and like he's just looking out for her best interests, and thinks like she's a young enough kid that the mom's like not gonna.
Oof, that is that means he was watching her the entire time, saw her put the scooter in.
Yep. Okay. I told my mom what had happened, and she was skeptical, but I did see that she knew I wasn't lying. Apparently, he also said that he had accompanied us down to our house and guarded us to make sure we were safe, and that he cared for us lonely girls all alone at dusk. And of course, he returned the scooter when I left it with him. He then added that when he later concerningly told me to go back home because it's dark, I didn't listen to him, and now that's why he came to let my mom know. I got very scared listening to all of this and started bawling my eyes out. I was scared that somebody was lying on my pretext, and moreover, my mom thought I was lying and was mad at something I didn't do. I think my mom realized that I was indeed telling the truth and calmed me down, then asked me, "Okay, well, what happened?" I told her that I had only left our street to drop my friends off, didn't set foot outside otherwise. Also, I explained his persistent staring and how uncomfortable it made us while he watched all our moves. Later that night, my dad came home and we sat down and told him what happened. He was furious that a random guy had dared enter our home, and even the security had become unpredictable when you expect the complete opposite service from them. Moreover, his kids, mainly his daughter, weren't safe even when so close to home. We went over to the houses of my 2 other friends, and the parents talked, and my friends confirmed my side of the story. They contacted the police, and apparently when they reached his cabin, he was found collapsed on the floor from overdosing on alcohol, and his cabin mate said that he often, while on duty, roamed around only near where the girls played. And when asked, he said that they're such pretty girls, I just want to see them safe. And later, usually late nights under the influence of alcohol, he would tell him he is going to lure at least one of those little girls someday.
He said that out loud?
Yes. And like, that's
I
what
feel
I'm
like
saying.
that's the one thing they never actually say. It's
yeah,
like
but
clear
obviously
that
he's
that's
like
what they're trying to do.
intoxicated to his roommate and he's just like bragging about it. But also like
Gross.
it just the way that he thought all of it out and like made this story to make it seem like, oh, by the way, I'm just keeping her safe.
Yeah.
She's doing these things. Send her with my like just the way that he's trying to play the mom.
Yeah. Oh, it's very premeditative.
Premeditated. Words are hard. No, it's so terrifying to me.
It's such an abuse of like his power too. Cause like at the beginning of the story, I was like, oh, I love that there's like guards walking around. Like that's cool.
And okay.
That would make me feel safe on like a holiday, like a.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, Ash. I kicked her Stanley over. There's been multiple of like episodes from like true crime podcasts where it's like the guard or something.
Always, and the dirty cop.
Yeah, like at first, like the cops are talking to the guard and he's like, oh, I saw her enter her apartment at this time. She was very intoxicated. And then like the more they dig, they find out that like the guard like was the one who took advantage of the person. And it's so sad because my security guards at my apartment are so sweet. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I will never trust anyone.
No.
Ever.
Why? Yeah.
Ever.
No. Can't.
Which is so sad.
You got to do everything yourself.
Because they're probably nice and want to make sure I'm safe. But I'm like,
can't confirm.
You got to be rude to stay alive. So, yeah. Okay. Mind you, our primary language is Hindi, and I've translated the words to the most accurate. But rest assured, his words were as creepy as they sound in either language. Ugh. They arrested him and obviously took him off his job and playing.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
No, I think when she said overdose on alcohol, I'm assuming like blacked out. Like, okay. Yeah. I'm assuming that's what I meant.
Not me feeling disappointed he's still alive.
At least he died.
I was like, well, at least he's done.
No.
Don't have to worry about him anymore. Yikes. So he's still alive. Yeah, he's still out there.
He's still alive. They arrested him and obviously he got fired from his job. Eye contact with strangers has never been the same for me every time. I inevitably see those two eyes that send me shivering. God knows how long he had been lurking and what would have happened had I dismissed his actions as nothing.
Right.
That's again, like usually you see that and you're like, oh, it's a guard. Cool.
Right.
But like we should always be.
Yeah. And like even for her to be brave enough to say like that's not what happened, like that's going against an adult as a little girl.
Yeah.
You know, like that would have been hard for me to do because I would have been like, oh, he's the adult. Like I've always just been the type of person to just like automatically submit to authority.
Yeah.
And like, I love that she felt safe enough to be like, that's not the truth. Like, here's what really happened. The fact that she like made sure her mom understood that like she wasn't lying and that he was lying.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been hard for me to do. And I love that she like
for sure
full send, like did not hold back. And it's because of that he got arrested.
Yeah. And I think I think parents, there's a lot of like, you have to respect authority and it's really easy to like shut kids down or like, well, where was your scooter? I swear I put it inside. It's very easy to be like, just
did
like
you
swear you didn't do this or that. Like, I think it's important to like listen and to like, especially if your kid's like that worked up, like obviously.
Yeah. And you would want to do that with anyone that close in your life, like fully hear out their story before assuming anything. So.
Ugh. I just hate that he was like talking and he was setting up for her to come to him alone.
Come
like
to him with
that's wild
gift.
To me. That's so scary. I must say your podcast has roped me in like nothing has before. Really love the October series. Also, an old fan of your YouTube content, but certainly a new podcast listener who is head over heels obsessed with UA. You guys really seem to be my distant offshore besties who I haven't met, but for sure listened to for some advice on a Tuesday morning. So it must come out
makes sense.
Tuesday. Thanks for letting me share. Love you guys. Love Anonymous.
Thank you so much for writing in. That is so terrifying. And it just breaks my heart because like that happened to her at such a young age.
I know.
It's one of those things that will affect you, obviously, no matter what your age is, but especially at a young age. Like that's going to change like your perspective on any man in authority or just man in general, or just like, you know, you walk around, you see a guy standing on the corner, you're going to automatically go, which isn't necessarily
Honestly,
a bad thing.
I know. I was going to say like, there's certain things, and I've noticed it with, I think that has to be the scariest part about being a parent because you're teaching your child to be polite and to have manners, but you don't want to like instill fear in them because you want them to like enjoy their life and not to be like scared of things. But it's like that fine line of like, I don't know, even Vanessa, like she started with Axel, like she asks him if he wants to give hugs.
Yeah.
So instead of being like, okay, like go hug Tay-Tay, go hug, you know, this like family friend, like whatever, like she'll just be like, do you want to give hugs? And then if he says no, she's like, okay, like wave bye to everybody. And like, and it's so crazy, like seeing how young he is, but you already are starting to be like, okay, like the difference between like a secret and a lie and like, just, it's and so crazy.
Has, you know, even though he's little, he has like gut intuition as well. And like, if, I don't know, at school, someone asked him to hug someone and he didn't want to, like he shouldn't be forced to.
I know.
And it's weird being in that age of like, oh, okay, like we have to think that way for them, you know? And
no, it's terrifying.
It's just heartbreaking when they're young and they're little.
I just like the fact that this guy was so ballsy to come up to the house,
open the door,
grab the scooter. Like he had been thinking about like his plot. Then
she was the one who was trying to lure.
Talk to the mom, have the girl come up and like say that stuff. Even his snarky little like, make sure you listen to your mom. Like when he left,
because
like
if she listens to her mom, then tomorrow she's gonna come to him.
Oh God, I hate it.
Hate.
Well, I'm so glad you're okay.
I do want to say, now I really want to go travel out there for the fall festival that you guys have because that sounds so much fun.
Festival of Lights.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into mine. I'm not going to say the title. It gives away too much.
Okay.
So we're just going to dive right on in here. It starts off saying, too young to remember her, but she remembered me.
Ew. Gross.
I know, right? It's like not enough information that makes your head kind of go crazy. Okay. Anyways, here we go. Hey there, girly pops. It's your girl, Kayla, and you can mention my name. It is such a delight to connect with fellow podcast enthusiasts like you. While my podcast might not be at the same grand scale as yours, I'm truly passionate about sharing stories and experiences and giving out a little advice along the way. The story I'm about to unveil is one that's been nestled deep in the recesses of my memory for some time. I've hesitated to put it into words as it stirs up a whirlwind of emotions, but today I'm absolutely thrilled to finally share it with you both. I can't wait to hear your reactions. So sit back, relax, and let's embark on this unforgettable journey together.
Relax.
Yeah. Lol. Sit back and relax. We're both like so anxious and like uptight.
I'm like so fidgety. I forgot my blankie today.
She writes, I'm a huge fan of your Spooktober series. I'm thrilled to share a spooky story with you. It's a tale of eerie dreams and an inexplicable connection with a mysterious girl that haunts both my dreams and my grandfather's. Let me take you back to the beginning. I was adopted at the age of 3 and had never known what it was like to have a large family until I was introduced to my mother's side of the family. With a total of 8 siblings, the family gatherings were always chaotic, with all of the cousins roughly the same age except for me and my cousin, the youngest in the group. Even though my family treated me as one of their own, I couldn't help but feel like an outsider. The only time I truly felt at home was when I was around my grandfather, who loved me just as much as I adored him.
Cute.
Super sweet. My grandparents lived in a grand 3-story house, except for the eerie off-limits basement. My cousins and I would gather there for family reunions, and though the basement door was open, we were never allowed to descend the stairs. We would huddle near the entrance and engage in card games or gossip. My cousins shared stories of how I would sometimes stare at the basement door and even have one-sided conversations with someone that they couldn't see.
Ugh.
Strangely, my grandfather claimed to have seen her too. A lonely girl who seemed desperate to join in. Occasionally, I'd talk to her, asking her how she was doing and who she was with, and they could sometimes feel her presence when we played. When my grandparents eventually sold the house, she seemed to disappear, and soon I forgot about her. But my strange encounters with her resurfaced through detailed dreams. I would find myself revisiting those moments as if I had gone back in time, witnessing my younger self talking to her. These dreams took on a peculiar third-party perspective. After the flashback, I would end up in a dark, unsettling void where I would see her and then wake up. These reoccurring dreams filled me with dread. She would even appear in my nightmares, lurking in the distance before I found myself in that ominous void again. I'd then wake up and I'd always feel super shaken. Over time, I began to realize that in my dreams, she was aging. It was in college when I had a particular unsettling dream, and when I entered that void, she was there, and she was significantly older. I was trapped in that moment, unable to wake up. Terrified, I eventually snapped back to reality. And during this time, my beloved grandfather, who I loved so much, was suffering from cancer, so I decided to visit him. I confided in him about my strange dreams, mentioning the reoccurring flashbacks from a third-party perspective and how she seemed to be growing older. What struck me the most was that he described her exactly as she appeared in my dreams. He said, "Let me guess. She was older in this specific outfit with a hair ponytail, with an outgrown lamb blanket, looking more tired, but still the same lonely girl as before." Yeah, she visited me too.
Wait.
Okay. He went on to explain that she appeared in his nightmares, and he too would end up in that ominous dark void before finally waking up. He had no idea how we could possibly be sharing the same dream experiences, but he speculated that perhaps it was the shared sense of loneliness that brought them together. My grandfather passed away just a month later, and during his funeral, as I walked down the aisle toward his casket, I saw her. She was standing there dressed in all black. It felt oddly comforting, yet undeniably creepy. After that day, I stopped seeing her in my dreams and my night terrors ceased. However, during the moments of extreme anxiety or on exceptionally bad days, she'll appear in the distance, leading me back to that dark void, and I would eventually wake up feeling deeply unsettled. Happy Spooktober. I'm officially sleep deprived on my own story.
Wait, what? Okay.
Clearly, the house was haunted, and it had to have been connected to the grandpa somehow. And because she shared a special connection with the grandpa, it then eventually, inadvertently went to her, right?
Yeah, but so the ghost, lives in her head?
No, I think maybe, possibly, the
ghost was pulling them both,
yes,
into a void,
into
with
a similar,
the ghost,
yes,
which is 11 from Stranger Things.
I was just gonna say, just like Stranger Things.
And what are you talking about?
I don't know, but I thought it was really interesting how she aged. Because I feel like that's not normal.
No.
If you have a dream of someone specific, they usually look exactly the same.
But then she came out of the void to say bye to him at his funeral.
Because I think they were connected. Somehow.
I don't like that they can live in your head. Yeah. Dreams.
What the hell is that about? Well, remember that one story we read last year where the family was living in a house that was haunted, and then the dad carried the spirit over to the new house? That was terrifying.
Okay, I'm now going to enter into my delusional, the delusional part of me that says that was all just like.
I mean, it's really one of those things because it's to a degree I don't want to believe in stuff like this, but then also it's hard to not sometimes. And then after I read stuff like this, I'm like, that's fake. It's got to be fake. That's not real.
In the name of Jesus.
Yikes. I'm scared.
That's what's like, dude. That's what's, it's, the whole like, the whole thing on TikTok that's like man or bear, like who would you rather be trapped in the woods with, like man or bear? But it's like when we read these stories and we have our APs and our DPs, it just truly shows me that you are not safe anywhere.
Period.
You're not safe awake.
No.
You're not safe asleep.
No.
You're not safe in your house.
Right.
Out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Also, stuff like this makes me think makes me more cautious to enter just like anyone's home.
Yeah, because what if the ghost just piggyback rides out of the house with you?
Exactly. So like if we're gonna assume this is true. Maybe the grandpa had allowed himself to be open to this kind of stuff. Like maybe him and his household, like maybe he was more of an open person when it came to spiritual things like that. And like her being there and drawing close to him, the grandpa, made her kind of open to stuff like that.
You know why she was open? That makes
me not want to go to anyone's house that I don't know.
But also because she talked to her.
Yeah.
Because remember, we've talked about this before. The rule is you can't address them because when you address them, it usually gets worse or amplified.
Yeah. Unless you are saying, get out, Satan.
In the name of Jesus.
Don't speak to them.
Literally. Catch me like with a ghost sitting next to me and me being like,
don't say anything. Look away. Start singing a lullaby. Oh my God.
No, I hate it so much.
I hate it. But do you get what I mean? Like it makes me not want to just walk into someone's house if you don't know them well enough.
Well, yeah, because...
But that's her grandpa. Like, what do you do? That's her grandparents' house. Her whole family's there.
I hate it.
But also, like, some grandparents are creepy.
Yeah, like, was that... Oh, I don't even want to say what I'm... The way my brain is going, I'm trying to be like, this is your precious grandpa that you love, so I'm not even going to say
we're not.
Because my brain goes to, like, it's his motive. You know, right? Well, obviously not.
That's
he sounds
not the
like
case.
a precious
That's just
man.
Our true crime obsessed selves.
Yeah. Oh
jumping
my gosh.
to conclusions.
Yes. I hate it.
If you have a scary grandpa,
grandma
story,
this
might be your sign.
Not the old people and not the kids.
But also maybe you should send it in.
No. I hate it.
Ooh.
I hate it so much.
And now we get to record a scary supercast.
Oh, dear God.
But Taryn and I, this is that season where it's just like nonstop scary. We finish one, we start another.
Yeah.
I'm also reading kind of a spooky book. It's just spooky season.
Are you reading a spooky book? What is it?
Well, I'm actually not reading a spooky book. I'm about to start reading a spooky book.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Why is a cemetery a great place to write a story?
I don't know.
Because of all the plots.
Damn it. I was going more like writing.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Good job, Taryn. That's a good. You always come through. You always come through.
Try.
You always bring the dad jokes home.
We try.
You always do your part. We're very grateful
Thank you.
for you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, if you made it to the dad joke, you survived. You survived October series episode 2, 2024.
But have you survived? Because the thing about these episodes is they linger. You're like, oh, I'm fine, until you go to fall asleep and then you replay it in your head and you're like, ah, crap.
And then all of a sudden you see her.
Yeah.
Send in your stories. It's not too late. We also are doing scary stories on Supercast, so send in all the stories, please. We would greatly appreciate it. Get excited. We have a few more episodes coming up on the podcast. And I think that's everything.
Yeah.
We made it to the dad joke. We love you the mostest.
Pretty
and we'll talk to you soon. Taryn. Okay, love you. Bye.